Welcome to the 2003 European Championships here in Donaueschingen in Germany. One of the very top competitions in the world for this year, and one where there's very keen competition for the medals, both team and individual. Well, all the stars are here in Donaueschingen, about 80 miles west of Zurich, not too far from the Black Forest. And there's the two competitions for the team and then the final leg for the individual. And of course, those first two competitions for the team also counting towards the final individual placing on the last day of the show. So the first leg, which counts for both team and individual, is one against the clock, where seconds added for every fence down. The World Cup rider Marcus Henning on the very experienced For Pleasure, one of the last in, trying to put Germany on top of the leaderboard after day one. 4 seconds added for the one fence down, but he'd cut all the corners, had a lovely rhythm and came home in 77.38 with those seconds added, and Kurt Gravemeyer and Ludger Beerbaum all thrilled with the final round from Marcus Henning to put Germany in the lead on the first day. The rider who chased him home was the young rider from Dane on the wonder horse Equest Canute. Thomas Vellin had Denmark well there with an even better performance to be leading the individual. A combination who impressed in the Sydney Olympics, but who weren't able to feature in last year's World Equestrian Games. But they'd certainly set themselves up for an individual medal with a fine round to win the first speed leg, the first leg of the individual as well. So after competition one, Denmark in 5th place and ranked number 1 individually, Thomas Vellin. But here is the team score after that round one, and look how close it is. Germany, 4th last time, the Europeans, and some of those lower ones chasing for places in next year's Olympic Games. The reigning European champions are Ireland, won in Arnhem 2 years ago, beating Sweden and Germany. But this time, they haven't qualified for Athens next year. Their very experienced chef to keep is Tommy Wade. So what will be his tactics for this year's European title?
We're here to qualify for the Olympic Games. I never came here with the intention of trying to win the European Championship. If we were doing that, we'd have to go too strong yesterday, gallop the legs off the horses to get in a position to win it. We didn't do that. We're playing it safe. We're trying to qualify for the Olympic Games. And if we get in the money in the European Championship, it's a bonus.
So all 4 riders have ridden one round of the Nations Cup, and here are the scores, which is the second round in all of the team championship. Very, very close between Germany and France in particular. And then the scores beginning to spread out, but all to play for, with, of course, Germans trying to win the title back on their home ground. What does Ludger Beerbaum think of their chances?
We've had a very dramatic first round, and it's very, very close, and it's not yet over. All 3 or 4 of us have been very consistent, very cool and relaxed. But even though we have the French, I would say that's kind of the more lucky you are today, the luckier team will win, I would say. But okay, I'm basically confident.
Well, the competition wide open, and Switzerland, a nation who haven't had the best of form in the last couple of years, did not have a good World Equestrian Games. With their lead-off rider in this third and final round for the team competition, the great Willy Melliger, on what is a new horse to him, Gold du Talus, a horse that jumped 2 very good rounds in the St. Gallen Samsung Nations Cup. Switzerland, who've been really relegated to Division 2 of the Nations Cup leagues this time. They head that league and have only appeared once on their home ground in St. Gallen in the Super League, and that's where this horse really did perform. So let's go around this course now, set by Olaf Petersen. the world's most experienced course designer. It's a very big track. The water comes early. Some big fences, but a very careful horse required. And as you can see right away, there's a lot of air between the poles. And this is a very disappointing round indeed for Switzerland. They were on 9.86 after the speed round. And then after the first round this morning, they were in 5th place with literally a mark between Sweden, Ireland and Switzerland, with France and Germany, of course, out in front. William Elegers was the discard score. And it looks as if it's going to be that again, as down comes another. So it's 16 faults again. He had that score this morning. He was the discard score in the speed round and the first round of the Nations Cup. And I'm afraid Gold to tell us rather showing his inexperience. Huge crowd, gorgeous weather. They really know their show jumping out here in Germany. As in comes Robert Splain on the lovely big horse called Coron Cool Diamond. Robert, who's been part of the top team this year. Ireland, of course, who won the Nations Cup in Aachen. And this is a horse that's gone particularly well, both in La Ball and in Aachen as well. One fence down in the first round of this competition. Ireland, who didn't finish well up after the speed leg. But Tommy Wade really pushing, as he said earlier, to get Ireland to Athens, because they have the team. Peter Charles, the one they've dropped, he didn't feel his horses were on song. He wanted a mastermind. Ireland's challenge to get through to the Olympic Games, and if they can win a medal as well, the team of Peter Charles and Chef to Keep Tommy Wade put a lot of thought and effort into their strategy these days. Really scoping down that final line, just that one mistake inside the time allowed at 81 seconds. Just rubs that pole, but these cups are very, very shallow. Oh dear, the face says it all, doesn't it? So it's 4 faults for Ireland's Robert Splain, called Coron Cool Diamond. They really have some challenging to do to get right up in the medals now, actually, Ireland. But in comes Sweden's Peter Eriksson. And what a star he's been. He was part of that silver medal 2 years ago in Arnhem, and then, of course, confirmed that huge Swedish success, their first ever medal 2 years ago, by winning the silver in Jerez last year. Cardento, one of the most sought-after stallions in the jumping game, but also has a lot of talent. Sweden in bronze medal position after the first leg this morning. Peter Eriksson, who had just a one-time fault class round, and he was the man who really clinched it. That silver medal in Arnhem 2 years ago. Huge scope this horse has got as he comes down that final line, flies the planks, Good stride to the last. Oh, and he has it down. And he's got time faults as well. So that is a disappointing score for Sweden. And it certainly will put the pressure on. 13 the total. As in comes the French star Eric Levallois, Diamant de Semi-Ecoli. And of course, they were part of that wonderful gold medal team down in Areth last year. He finished 9th individually there too. And the French have been in cracking form. They won their home Nations Cup in La Baule and then went on to win in Rome. And Jean-Maurice Bonneau has really prepared this team with tremendous care. Diamant de Semi had 2 fences down this morning. France, who were in silver medal position after the speed leg, still there after round 1. But this is not the start they wanted. France, remember, on 9.3 after their first round, with then Germany on 7.15. Very close between those two teams at the moment. Triple bar to the planks, opens them up, then back to the plank. That's a difficult line. Then at big spread to finish, a difficult last line, and he jumps it well. 2 fences down though for France, 8 faults. And there's the upright that comes. And there's Jean-Maurice. His face again telling the story. Now, Marcus Enning for pleasure. What a wonderful horse he's been. Marcus Enning won the World Cup on him this year. He, of course, won a gold medal, this horse, in the Atlanta Olympics. And that was with Lars Nyberg, before Robert Deister, the owner, then handed him on to Marcus Enning, who was then really only a star in the making. But now the star's made. Was in the gold medal team for the Europeans at Hickstead in '99. And he's been right there again. Oh, and he's jumping a class round. A clear round here would really put Germany in the box seat. Kurt Gravemeyer and the German team were under a lot of criticism after a very disappointing World Equestrian Games. Germany only finished 4th out of the team medals. No individuals through to that 4-horse ride-off. Oh, it's this final line that really is the key to this Nations Cup gold medal. But 1 fence down, it's still a better performance than France, and I think puts Germany fractionally ahead. But of course, 4 riders to jump, but only the 3 best rounds to count, and that will really only unravel towards the end. That's Marcus's father. Great family effort between them. As in come one of the most experienced pair there is in current world show jumping. Good to see this horse back, Positano. He's been a little unfortunate the last 18 months or so. He's been sidelined more than he's been competing, but if the horse is on form, he's very definitely a key member of the Swiss team. Beat the 2nd member to ride for Switzerland in this final round. Only 10 teams jumping in this final round out of the 18 that came forward originally. if this horse is on song, this really an ideal course for him, because he has all the power and scope. Perhaps not the quickest against the clock, but it is very best when jumping is the name of the game. No, he's still clear. Switzerland very much in need of a pick-me-up here, because remember, Willie Melliger, 16 faults in both his rounds. Oh, it's a lovely round. Positano and Beat Manley back to their absolute best. Class round. And Switzerland, are they beginning to come into medal contention? Switzerland again, a disastrous World Equestrian Games. It's so competitive these days. Well, now Ireland, and his first ever major championship from the young man Billy Toomey, from County Cork but based in Cheshire in England, was of course stable jockey for Michael Whitaker, then set up on his own and has bought some really good horses, bought by his patron Mr. Paul. And this is a horse, Luadam, that was ridden by John Popely, one of several very good horses that have been bought out of Great Britain, which has certainly affected Britain's chances of either medals or may even be qualifying for the Olympics. It doesn't look good for them at the moment. And already this combination have looked world-class. They won the Grand Prix at La Baule, jumped a fantastic round to help Ireland win the Nations Cup in Aachen, which is always one of the big pointers. Classic style and a very good temperament, this boy. Had 8 faults in his first round this morning, and then 5.33 was his score after the speed leg. And that's not quite good enough for Ireland, those 2 fences. He was discount score in the first round on 8. Ireland, who remember, on 23.86 after the first round this morning. So they really do need some good scores. Coolcor and Diamond were 4, and now Luadam on 8. As in comes Renald Ango, very talented family with Talokem, the horse that did jump for Mexico, but now in this very talented man's hands, part of the World Championship gold medal team. So Eric Levallois, remember, first rider to go in this round, had 8 faults. So Renald really needs a clear round. Good clear round this morning. They had actually 3 clear rounds out of 4, which put them right in behind Germany. Is the pressure beginning to tell? The German crowd know exactly how important this round is. France are just edging back off the pace set by Germany. 8 faults for Talokem. Those planks take some jumping down this final line. Well, now Christian Allmann, the new man in the German team. He was very much the choice of Ludger Beerbaum, who was understood, really persuaded Kurt Gravemeyer that this man had to be in. He's been very much on song. was European young rider. That's gone, I think. Or has it? I thought it had fallen. But it looks if it stayed. This young man won the Young Riders European Championship title twice in the mid-90s. And is a rider that is highly thought of. So just a reminder of the position. Germany on 7.15 after the completed second round, the first of this Nations Cup competition. This is the second and final round. They had France just behind them, and a clear round now would definitely give Germany the advantage over the planks. Just the last, and he jumps that, and that's why Christian Ullmann is so highly regarded. They have such strength in depth, and this man not only has the talent, but he's got the temperament, and put the two together and some horsepower underneath him, and you've got exactly what you've just seen. Class. Those are big fences down that final line, and you've got to come on to this Oxer. It's big, it's square, but he just touches the first, and there's one father absolutely engrossed in that round. I think probably they lost more sweat over that than Christian himself. Well, now, Wim Schroeder. We were talking of talented families, but here is one of three brothers that all have jumped for Holland. Holland, who've had some very in and out form in major championships in recent years. Finished 5th in the World Games. Gave them Olympic qualification out of the medals in the Sydney Olympics, but then, of course, they won the Olympic individual gold medal with Jeroen Dubbeldam, not in the team this year. The Dutch right in hunt of a medal after this morning's round. They were on a score of 34.85. Wim, who had just a fence down this morning. The discard score, Jan Tops with Roofs. So just the one mistake this time. Eurocommerce Berlin, and Wim Schroeder went well in the speed leg. Holland, who 2 years ago on their home ground in Arnhem fought so strongly when they were down to 3 men, when in fact Jan Tops had to retire. But now let's concentrate on the new man from Switzerland and how he is impressed. The third rider for Switzerland, this Steve Godat with Tepik La Silla. Classic clear round in that second round earlier on today. So in this round, Beat Manley with 16. They hope that'll be the discard score. Beat Manley with the one fence down and the one time penalty. And they were all very much fighting for that bronze medal position, as long as France and Germany don't fall out of bed. The Swiss team, for so many years, right up to the Sydney Olympics, right in contention for team medals at the very highest level. But a bit of team rebuilding, and it's already beginning to work for them. And that's a good round. What a good round. Rolf Thiele, there's William Menninger nodding with satisfaction, and Rolf Thiele, their chef to keep, said this man would do his stuff, and he certainly has. Well, now, Cian O'Connor. Cian, who disappointed not only himself but the Irish in Jerez. Ireland finish in 7th place there as a team. This lovely horse, Waterford Crystal, had a nasty fall actually in a very foggy morning. Cian, who had a fence down in the earlier round. At the moment, France and Germany up front. Ireland right in the edge of a medal. But that medal not looking so good, because Leudam already on 8 in this round. Now Waterford Crystal on 8 as well. Eight faults it is then for Cian O'Connor and Ireland. Waterford Crystal. It's not going to be European gold for Ireland this time. They're really now struggling to win a medal. But at the moment, they do look one of the nations that will qualify for next year's Olympics. Well, now, the lady who jumped into prominence in Spain became such a heroine down there, Helena Lundbach, with her little horse, Utforsminter, remember. Tremendous performance to get into that famous World Championship 4-horse ride-off. She did in the end finish out of the medals individually, but a great performance to get her through. And her double clear round in the Nations Cup gave Sweden the silver medal. Now what can she do here? Sweden in silver medal position after the second round, but so close between Ireland and Switzerland. $13 for Peter Eriksson, remember, Cardento. 8 for Rowan Zederman, their second rider on Richmond Park. So Sweden dropping off the pace with the one fence down from Helena. Galloping down this final line. And this is the way this horse enjoys to go and makes those 2 fences look so easy, where others have struggled a little. Helena Lundbach then for Sweden can't strengthen their position. 4 faults. And now Sweden dropping back. The carrot's already being broken up as in comes the very experienced Michel Icard with what is a key round now for France. Oh. And I think that was probably all the French around this huge capacity crowd here in Donaueschingen, because that, I think, is the gold medal out of the window. 'Tis a little early, but at the moment, 2 riders in this last round for Germany, 1 on clear and 1 on 4. Marcus Henning with the 1 fence down. 2 gone for France, both on 8. So really it had to be clear for Michel Icard, and then their last rider still to come, Michel Robert. So France won't want another 8, because what could happen then is that there could be a fight for the bronze medal. And Switzerland are still improving, whereas France are definitely dropping back. This is a lovely horse. Michel missed out in the World Games gold medal last year, but it's a horse, a Quilano de Calvary, related to a very good American horse that has been so successful, and it's one that's highly regarded. But it's 4 faults for Michel Ecart, Quilano de Calvary, and France dropping back. I think Michel's face explains it all. They realise the European gold is disappearing, but this is the one round that is probably crucial now. If this goes clear, Germany would almost have secured the gold medal. This lovely horse, Dobel Cento and Otto Becker, a great horse master. The Germans this year have really prepared for this. They've not overjumped their horses. This is the first time the team have jumped together. Kurt Gravemeyer, and I think, yes, he's just put his hands up to the judges. He wants a little bit more time. When the bell goes, there's 45 seconds before the clock starts. And I think he thought that probably he was going to need time, but in fact, he's actually going to be okay. Quite easily inside that 45-second time now. Well, Otto Becker has been at the top of the tree for a long time, but on this wonderful horse, he won Olympic gold in Sydney in the team there. Then in 2002, he won the World Cup, which was one of his greatest thrills. He really felt that he had made it into the very top league. Ooh. Is the pressure beginning to tell? Quite early for that rail to come down. But you don't rattle this man easily. Turns for home. And Germany can't be beaten. They get the European title back again. Bronze medal 2 years ago. It's the first time they hadn't won gold for several years, and then after last year's disappointment, and that's what it means. Kurt Gravemeyer there, Herbert Meyer there too, the trainer previous to Kurt Gravemeyer, and in fact, of course, Ludger Beerbaum still to come, getting that news in the outside ring. Well, now Roberto Arioldi for Italy, and Italy are in the dogfight for the top 3 teams to get automatic qualification to the Olympic Games, and that's a real dogfight to not get to the Olympic Games. And incidentally, in the Pan American Games, Brazil, the great Brazil, missed out on qualifying, and there could be some famous names from World Show Jumping not qualifying here. Britain at the moment struggling, and Italy in that dogfight with Britain. And in this second round, Britain dropping back and Italy improving. This the last rider for Italy. Massimo Grassato had just a time fault. Vincenzo Cimeri had 2 fences down. Then Bruno Cimeri, he had just 1 down. So if the experience of Roberto with Laura Piana Dima de la Cour could put in a good round, Britain could be out of the Athens Olympics. And this man is digging very, very deep indeed. 2 left. Oh, and I think that means Italy is going to qualify for Athens and Great Britain will not. Well, that'll certainly be some news to chatter about out in the outside collecting ring. But Roberto Arioto, a classic round. The most experienced of all the internationals, and it certainly showed. Lucky at the last. So Italy has a chance to improve its record in the Olympics next year. Robert Smith now, the last of the British riders to go. Britain have had 2 or 3 years of great disappointment. Finished 8th in the European Championships at Arnhem 2 years ago, 16th in the World Games last year, and several of their top horses have either been sold or injured in the last 3 months. Although one has to say that 2 or 3 of the riders, and Robert Smith is certainly one, and Michael Whitaker come back to strengthen the team. They won their own Nations Cup in Hickstead, finished 2nd to the French in Dublin, but sadly it's not been able to be followed through here. Nick Skelton had a good first round, 2 fences down with the very exciting Arco. Michael Whitaker on the well-travelled Fleur had 8 in the first round, 9 in the second round. And Richard Davenport had a fence down and a time fold in each round, 5 in each round. And Robert Smith and Mr. Springfield now on 12 faults. So this will be the discard score. And Britain finishing on 55.08. And that does confirm that they finished down the line, look like finishing in 9th place as a team. And incidentally, Italy, well, they look to be qualifying, and they are looking at the moment to be finishing in 6th place, just ahead of Sweden. But now here's a key round, because it could be a key round for the individual or for Belgium as a team. Belgium, remember, the world bronze medalist. And Ludo Philipparts has been so much part of the tremendous revival in Belgian show jumping under their very experienced chef d'equipe, Lucien Summers. Lovely horse. This the horse that Ludo couldn't jump in the World Games. He was, the horse went lame while out in Jerez. He jumped a lovely clear round this morning. They were on 28.14, the Belgians, after this morning's round. And at the moment, they've had Jean-Claude Van den Berg with 9. That's the one they want to discount. Stanley Van Peschen with just a time fault. Jos Lansing, a superb clear round with AK Carador Z. Now, Ludo Philipparts. If he put another clear round in now, he'd be pushing Switzerland. Right at the top of the world rankings, this man. Been in the game, what, 20, 25 years, I would think now. Oh, and that plank goes. Just came in a little bit flat. He's got a time fault to add as well. 34.14 is Belgium's finishing score, and that's discarding Jean-Claude Van den Berg's score. And that actually puts Ludo Philipparts down the individual rankings as well. Remember, he won an individual medal, bronze medal, in Arnhem 2 years ago. So Marcus Fuchs and the great Tinker's Boy can be such a brilliant horse, but can also have his off days, as happened in Jerez. Switzerland, who finished in 12th place, and poor Marcus got through to the last but one round in the individual, and then disaster struck. But they won't want it to strike here. Switzerland, just to put you in the picture, Willie Melliger with 16, and they'll want to discard that. If they have got to count that, then Belgium could come in to the reckoning. Belgium have finished on 34.14, and at the moment, Switzerland on 23.86. In fact, now that's 27.86. So they can afford to have one more and still stay in bronze medal position. But two more, and then Belgium will get it. Down this final line. World Cup winners 2 years ago, over the planks. This could be the fence that gives Switzerland bronze. It does. Tinker's boy and Marcus Fuchs not putting a foot wrong this time. And that'll please the chef to keep, Rolf Taylor. Clenched fist, pat on the neck. Ireland now. Kevin Babington. Kevin, who comes from the United States of America, from Pennsylvania, set out from Ireland, what now, 8-10 years ago, but has made a name for himself, particularly over in the West Coast. Tommy Wade invited him back in 2000, and that's when the team really began to come together. And of course, he was part of the gold medal team 2 years ago. Now, Ireland really with no hope of a medal, I would suggest. In fact, they can't win a medal. But what is important to them now is that they stay ahead of Italy, who is certainly going to finish ahead of Britain. In fact, in the Olympic Games issue, Ireland really would have to have a hatful of fences down, and I wouldn't think that'd happen now for Britain to qualify in front of Ireland. But this is a lovely round. A double clear round, and that is the one and only double clear round over Olaf Peterson's course, and that's great credit to this Irishman, Kevin Babington. Finishes with a tremendous flourish. So that's a total of 12, discarding one of the 8s in the second round, gives them a team total of 34.79, and they're going to go into 5th place behind Belgium in 4th. And there's the support team, thrilled with that. The very talented and much admired Marlene Bayard now for Sweden. Sweden, of course, already qualified for Athens, are out of the medals. The worst score they could finish on would be 46.88, but if they can get less than 13 and discard Peter Eriksson's score, then it's going to be between Italy and Sweden for 6th and 7th place. Italy at the moment on 39.14 completed. If Marlene had gone clear, then they would have been ahead of Italy. And at the moment it's actually touch and go, very touch and go. She has another down quickly. So it is Italy 6th and Sweden 7th. Always unravels over this final round when we find the discard score, and that is Peter Eriksson with those 13 we saw earlier. HM butterfly flip, first jump for Sweden very impressively in the Sydney Olympics with Marlin. Of course, finished in the top 3 in the World Cup in Las Vegas this year. So Sweden finished 7th on 41.88. Now let's put the French into context. Switzerland, at the moment, have definitely got a bronze medal. They're 28.66. Now, at the moment, Michel Robert can afford to have one fence down, and the silver stays with France. Germany, of course, already won the gold. So this is all about keeping silver for France now. Now, he can't afford another, because if that's the case, Switzerland will win silver and France will drop down to bronze. Well, he wouldn't want any more experienced competitor. Remember, he was in the ride-off for the 1994 World Championships in The Hague. He won silver behind the great Vai Vai. This lovely horse, Galet Dazé, was not in the world team last year, but he's brought it back. He wants to get to the Olympics, and he just has secured European silver for France. They have given Germany a good run for their money, and of course Germany with home advantage, and it's a big advantage when you have such a knowledgeable crowd as you get here. But that's the rail that keeps the silver for France. And that actually puts Michel Robert very much into the top 20 who'll be going then for the individual, including this man, that top 20, the great Ludger Beerbaum. The longest standing world ranked #1. But of course has lost that position to Marcus Fuchs this year for the first time, in 18 months or so, I think. But he's chosen to ride his Sydney mount, Gold Fever, instead of the horse, the lovely mare Gladys, that he won the title on in Arnhem. Now Ludger really is jumping for individual position here now. He had 3.59 after the speed leg. Every horse is ranked, starting with 0 for the winner. Jumped a very good first round on this horse. Now, if he jumps clear in this, he'll only be the second one so to do. Remember, Kevin Badminton is the only rider, but more importantly, he would put him right in line to defend his individual title. Germany won team gold with Ludger on the team in Sydney, but actually this horse disappointed in a very big way, fell apart, and was the discard score. Just stood a little too far off and dropped on that back bar, played with the planks, absolutely flew it, and flew the last. But it's 4 faults. So Germany's final score, 8 in the second round, wins the team gold on 15.15, and in the end are easy winners. Just over 10 marks ahead of the French, who in turn are just over 3 marks ahead of the Swiss in bronze. And there's confirmation of those medals, with Belgium finishing just outside, Ireland and Italy qualifying for the Olympics, and Great Britain missing out. Well, what a competition. The Germans have won it well on their home ground. and they're quite rightly highly delighted. Marcus Henning being pushed forward by Ludger. He obviously feels he led them from the front. Christian Arman, what a performance by this first-time championship rider. And then the experience of Otto Becker, and of course finally Ludger Beerbaum. Oh, and look at that. You don't often see Ludger as animated as that. What about Otto Becker? What does he think?
Yeah, very difficult and very tight, and I'm very happy that we won the title. No, it was not easy. When you see after the first round, it was so tight with the French. It was a tough fight, and I'm really happy.
Well, a wonderfully staged championship, and the home crowd go home with a spring in their step. Germany once again showing their class, and with 1 year to the Olympics, what a fascinating competition that could be in 1 year's time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the exciting Team European Championship, but it's time to say goodbye from Donaueschingen.